Start.
Oh my goodness, now they'll know my social security.
Yeah.
It's
You
1. It is.
How did you know? How'd you know?
225 32 98 62 419.
What?
Just what Cyber said. So go ahead.
What?
Will I get banned for saying this? I'm asking too many questions. Oh, my cat's lying on my bed today.
Meow.
They rarely hang out with each other. They normally are on like opposite ends of the room.
Oh, excuse me.
Alright guys, so we're just announcing that we're actually making a Sonic Riders game. Alright, cool.
Hey, Liz.
Alright, alright, pop round to the chippy.
Hey, Liz. We're going to take the car.
Yes, words.
Words.
Ah,
Vertical.
yes. Words.
Vertical.
This is
Very interesting.
This is very horizontal. Very nice.
Horizontal. Very nice.
Use when you're playing for Puyo Puyo.
Horizontal. Very nice.
Staircase. Very nice.
We're going the sandwich method, I see. Very interesting. I will stop you from taking over the world. Bloop. Bloop. Bloop.
No. Horizontal, very nice.
Going the staircase, I see. Very interesting. How's everyone doing today for anyone who's joining in? We'll give it a few more minutes before we get started.
I feel like shit. How dare you ask?
Okay. Alright, how's everyone besides Emmanuel? Because he doesn't count.
It's been doing good.
Actually, I'm gonna get a quick bite to eat. So I'll be back. Hopefully, I'll be back before the stream
you
starts.
are now needing to stay here.
What do you mean? You said before the stream starts?
I mean, before like we get into it.
I was gonna say I started the stream like 5 fucking minutes ago. I told you I was starting the stream.
I know. I was playing Noita and I died, so just give me a break, okay? It's really traumatic. I burned to death. Anyway, I'll be right back.
Burned to death. Anyway, oh yeah, I just realized you didn't put these enemies in a box.
Yeah, I still didn't put them in a box. They're just kind of.
They're just gonna skedaddle over here.
Yeah, they're gonna come and say hello.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is our first stream back for the year, isn't it?
It is. This is our first 2021 stream.
First 2021 stream, and guess what, guys? There's not a lot to show, really. Don't be too excited to see a lot of progress.
There's some cool stuff, but yeah, nothing really.
Like, that's the most advanced thing we've done so far.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I might have some more advanced things than this.
Which we will get to.
Yes. But as you guys can see, those are some new enemy AIs. But we'll talk more about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the AI stuff in a minute.
That's a story for another time.
I don't know why my frames keep dropping during the stream. Like, OBS is just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just drop frames. I'm like, why? Where's the performance problems? I'm like, no.
I won't tell. No, I'll never tell.
But I will never tell. Like, my CPU doesn't change at all. I'm so confused. What I'm thinking of doing is, because I have my old computer, I'm thinking of trying to get a setup so where I'll stream on, like, use my old computer to stream. Like, that's all it does, is, like, it'll just manage the, stream that way. this PC can do other shit. But that's the problem is I have another desktop, so I'd have to figure out how to get it. Like, you know.
Popular clips, save fail, still there. 22 views. I still will always cry at that.
Ah, what specifically?
You remember when we were racing?
Oh, yeah.
And then I accidentally loaded a save.
Alright. It's the 5-minute mark, so just to get started here. First thing we're probably going to go ahead and show off real quick is a new Wisp object that is, it's not, like, amazing or anything. How's it going, Shiranui? You just arrived in time. We were just now getting started.
It's, like, very beta at the moment.
Yep, it's a, actually, I'm not going to use Blue Cube, because that'll take a while. It's basically a breakable wall specifically for Wisps. And I'll show this off. In Engine, you can adjust and set it to look for certain or specific Wisps, as well as wait for specific situations or circumstances to be met before being broken. So, like, this box right here can only be broken by Blue Cube, and that box up there can only be broken by Orange Rocket. So if I hopped up here and turned over Orange Rocket, you'd see it break and fell apart there. But then immediately respawned. Say what?
It fell apart, but it didn't, like, spread
Yeah.
as it did last time, weirdly enough.
So if I sat there and tried to destroy it with Blue Cube, nothing would happen. Because it's not set to look for Blue Cube. That one over here, though, is. So if I... Bam. Like so. There's also one up there. That one is specifically looking for Cyan Laser, but it doesn't like to work. And there's a couple other issues currently going on with this camera trigger, so I'm not going to mess with it. So that's the first new object. That's not really exciting or anything, which is why I wanted to get it out of the way real quick. Oh, another thing is...
I came up with the idea.
Say what?
I came up with the idea. For at least the blue cube. I was going to call it the blue plate.
Jade Ghost works a lot better now. So there are specific objects that you can't pass through. We don't have any textures on these yet or materials, but
Ghost!
whenever Jade Ghost is active, you'll be able to pass right through them. And we're also probably going to adjust it so that, like, other objects can be passed through as well. Because what originally happened is if you were Jade Ghost, you would turn invincible, which is the same thing as if you got, like, the invincibility item. So we actually had to change it so that instead of turning invincible, you would be invisible or recognized as invisible. And that's what Jade Ghost does.
He's a phantom.
He's a phantom. So now Jade Ghost actually has a purpose and a function. It's not quite done yet, but it is almost done.
Yep.
Another smaller thing that we literally just pushed and did.
That's what Ghost does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Ghost will do. He'll also become undetectable. Like, if you're invisible with Jade Ghost, you'll be undetectable by enemies, and you can even pass through enemies and other dangers, so... That's what it'll currently do. It's not done yet, but it honestly won't take too much to finish it up. So another thing Reese literally kind of just pushed was this here.
I have now altered the text. So now it is rich text instead of a standard text box.
Yep.
It is very, very early on though, and there's going to be a lot of headaches with it. But essentially, if you type in some HTML code inside of the text variables, you can change the font, color, and you can even add little icons to the text as such.
Yep. This will make the hint rings even more customizable.
So, like, if anybody saw Wolfbane's video on the Infinity Engine, they were struggling to figure out what the action button is. We can have it now, so the hint rings will actually show the button.
Yeah.
Like, what it is. It's still super early on, and I'm thinking about how to customize it because I've got to think about how to change the HTML code depending on if you're using keyboard, controller, or PlayStation controller and stuff like that. But it's essentially what we're going to aim to do with that. Hey, you can add as many icons to it and different types of fonts and stuff as you want, and it's super customizable. It's the more proper way to do text in Unreal.
Yeah. Another thing that we were working on, you kind of just saw it a minute ago, were these AI dummy tests.
You might want to reset them.
Yeah, I'm going to reset them.
You may want to reset the level.
Let me clear this notification.
They are super early on, these as well. This is something that I started working on last year, actually. Just after Christmas, I think I started working on these just for...
Yeah, so we're going to be... The whole purpose of this is we're planning on reworking and adjusting enemy AI to actually be AI rather than just basic interactions. That way, enemies will...
They'll be a bit more smart about how they attack the player now.
Yeah.
Right now,
behavior trees.
Yeah. Now these are using behavior trees, which is the advanced way of doing AI in Unreal. And right now, the only things that are coded for these enemies is to surround the player, or like get next to the player but stay a decent distance, and then they roll a number, and whoever's got the lowest number, I believe, is eligible to attack the player. But it's going to have way more stuff added to it later, and a load more condition checks and stuff like that. But it's just super early on right now, and as you can see, they're not too smart yet, but they're a little bit more smarter than the original ones, where they kind of like don't just walk right up to you; they stay a little bit of a distance. These are mainly more for like the power characters, because obviously you'd be running too fast for the AI to really do anything.
Power and flight characters will notice these things more than speed.
When you're in more combat with the power and flight characters, these will be a bit more noticeable
because they'll like actually interact with you and like try to do things around you rather than just sit there and take hits.
Yeah, and if you noticed as well, only one enemy attacks at a time right now. That's like part of the code. Only one person will attack, so not everybody's dogging up on you at the same time.
Yep.
But again, all of this is super early, and a lot more stuff's going to be added to it.
Yeah, it's just like the foundation, and also needs to be integrated with the regular enemy code, so you can hit them and whatnot.
So that thing right there is the combat manager, which is what you're going to need for the AI to work. You need to add all of the enemies to that list, and then the combat manager for the enemies is going to decide who can attack when and how and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to do with it.
There's a whole lot to do with it. But hopefully whenever we get it done, because we have a whole different slew of ideas of what to do with enemies. Like giving enemies like different behaviors, giving enemies specific roles, like maybe
a leader.
Like there's a leader, or enemy groups or something like that can have a role of like defense or offense.
Patrol.
Or patrol. They might patrol an area, or if you come up to a certain section that might defend a certain point of interest or whatever, you
make like a mini games with it to make a capture the flag sort of thing. That'd be cool. I'm going a bit advanced here, but like just imagine a multiplayer capture the flag where there's two players, but each player has like an army of egg pawns or something protecting some sort of key interest.
That would be cool, actually.
I believe you're talking about Nuclear Dawn. I don't know. It's been a really long time since I played Nuclear Dawn, so I don't actually remember how that game worked.
Dawn.
I'm so excited for the future of the Infinity Engine. Let's go. Thank you.
So many opportunities you could do with stuff like this in the future.
Yep.
But we'll see when we get there.
I thought, wasn't there one other thing I worked on with the Wisps? I don't remember.
So you had the Wisp object,
one thing we're going to be working on is, it's having a little bit of issues, or else I would have showed it off, is earlier we had shown off features with the dynamic camera that you can set it to only track Wisps. So you notice whenever I walked into this room, the camera didn't freak out or anything whenever I walked in here, even though there's a dynamic camera in here. That's because it's looking specifically for Wisps. And originally that's all it did. It would just simply look for a wisp and then it would activate. But I'm trying to get it to where it'll only activate once certain circumstances are met. And currently what it can also do is it'll only activate if it sees a certain or a specific wisp. Such as, in this case, this one is tracking cyan laser. Meaning, like this dynamic camera will only activate if you are cyan laser, or you're using the cyan laser ability. That way you can like set up dynamic cameras for specific wisps, even though you might have more than one wisp in the same location, so it doesn't mess things up. Like, oh, I want, like in this instance right here, I have cyan laser and green hover in the same area, but I don't want the camera to do weird ass shit with green hover, only cyan laser. So in this instance, you've set it up to only track cyan laser. There is a current problem with it though. Currently what it's supposed to do is wait for a specific situation to occur inside the wisp before activating, because like if you activate cyan laser, you don't shoot off immediately, you have to aim first, in which case you would probably prefer to have specific camera controls, meaning you wouldn't want the camera to pull away from you until after you've already shot the cyan laser. But it currently doesn't do that. It kind of freaks out, and we're still trying to work on it, so that's something we're going to be working on. Two other things that I can show off real quick before we move on to like the main event. There's one main event that we really want to show off, but I'm kind of saving it for last. Yellow Drill works a little bit better in 2D sections now. He will properly bounce off of things rather than just de-transforming you if you're digging underground in a 2D section. So,
yeah.
Boing.
There's a few improved particles with drill and spikes as well, by the way.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And if you run out of wisp while underground, it kills you instead of just de-transforming you.
Yeah.
Like it does in Sonic Colors. So.
Show off the particles, my dude. Show off the particles.
Jeez. So we got some particles going on here for drill.
Yeah, drill kicks up some rock chunks. And Pink Spikes does it as well, but Pink Spikes is a little broken. It will constantly throw it up no matter what your speed is compared to drill. I mean, drill's always moving, but like, yeah.
We also need to make new meshes for what's being kicked up right now, just shooting up pebbles.
Yeah, it's currently just shooting rocks, but that's it.
Yeah, it's shooting out like the default rock that you get with Unreal.
So those are the main changes to the wisps. That's the thing with the enemies. And the hint rings. I also got this system up here, which I had set up where you can spawn in and despawn the gold ring.
Very cool, Kanye.
Gold
ring disappeared.
The gold ring will dynamically interact with things that try to activate and deactivate things. If you sit there and try to tell it to deactivate while it's already deactive, like inactive, it won't sit there and try to deactivate again. And if you're trying to activate it while it's already active, it recognizes and tracks its toggle state, so that way it's a lot harder to actually break the system.
So think about like if you wanted to have it where at the end of a level you had to destroy a bunch of enemies, you can do that and then have the ring spawn in.
Yep.
Or you can do a puzzle setup with those switches to make it so the gold ring like keeps getting toggled on and off depending on like what switches you flip, like depending on if you want to do that kind of level design or something.
Yeah. So currently what you can do is you can, inside of the gold ring, first of all, actually to quickly bring note to this, the gold ring's materials have been altered.
Yeah. The gold ring's mesh has also been updated.
Yep. There's this really weird noticeable seam around the ring, but it's no longer there.
Yeah. If you take a look at the gold ring in the Free and Knuckles update and stuff, or past versions, you'll see like on the edge of the ring there's a really harsh line. I fixed it.
Yep.
So now it's all nice and clean.
The gold ring is also a little bit more
brighter.
Well, yeah, the materials are brighter because we kind of hecked around with the materials a little bit.
Yeah. We're not done with the materials yet. We're
Yeah.
still working on them.
Oh, excuse me. The other thing is the gold ring is technically ever so slightly more resource efficient now, because what it used to do is it used to be a mesh that we would forcefully rotate it in the code. Now it simply just plays an animation.
Yeah, I've updated it, so now it's a skeletal mesh, and it's just playing a simple rotating animation, so now it doesn't have to worry about rotating the mesh every frame with code. I mean, still doing it technically with animation, but it's more efficient than rotating it with code when we've got so many other things running on event ticks everywhere.
Yep. As you can see clearly, I added a little variable called isActive. It's on by default, so you don't have to worry about it like you tossing it in there and it not. Arsenal Fort, thank you for that follow. You don't have to sit there and toss the goal ring out and it not appear and you'd be like, oh, whoa, what's going on? It's not there. No, by default, it'll be active. But if you don't want it to be active and you want to deactivate it through an external mean, you simply just tick this is active off. So if I left it on and I walked up here, it would just be on. And what is really simple about this is, like, if I looked right here, this here is the enemy linker. What this does is it links an enemy to another object, or a set or group of enemies to an object, and then passes through a activation event once all the enemies are recognized as cleared. You can tell it, like, if you're attached to a goal ring, you can say, hey, do you want to activate or deactivate the goal ring? So in this case, activate goal ring is false, which means if the goal ring is currently active, it'll deactivate the goal ring. So if I set this to on, and I ran up here, and I killed the enemy, it would deactivate the goal ring. Versus if I wanted it to activate the goal ring, all I would have to do is say, hey, yes, I do want it to activate goal ring. And instead of turning the goal ring off, it would simply, it would turn it back on instead. So you can turn the goal ring off for all of your trolling needs.
Okay.
I
I
have
think enemy linker still has to be.
Do a troll level where, like, you can't destroy a certain enemy or something, like a super powerful enemy.
Yeah, I was thinking.
If you destroy it, the goal ring's just gone.
I was thinking about that whenever I was making this. I'm like, people could just make something really trolly and, like, just fucking, like, delete the fucking goal ring out of the level if you do something.
It's a Kaizo level.
Yep.
We thought about Kaizo levels before using this engine now.
Yep. Will Sonic
Also,
eat a chili
enemy linker
dog when the player
probably-
is not moving? That would be a idle animation. That would be a cool idle animation, but we do not have that because we don't. We'd have to make that animation.
We're not going to touch like Sonic's animations, to be honest. Now
Probably.
We're going to have to make custom ones for the other characters, though. We're making custom animations for Knuckles and Tails and Sliver and Blaze and Shadow and well, maybe not Shadow. I'm joking.
Arsenal Force says escort mission for the goal ring deactivation.
That'd be fun.
Ooh.
And by fun, I mean,
you would have to adjust the enemy linker to do something like that. It could be possible though, because like this enemy linker can be scaled infinitely. So instead of like you have to be within a certain range for it to do what it needs to, you can have it expand infinitely. So that way it tracks globally rather than within its confined local space right here. But we got to rework some of that stuff anyway because the whole global versus relative tracking system kind of hacks things up when it comes to like...
Yeah, I was going to say...
We can make a toggle for the trigger, so like instead of it being local space, you can just turn on a boolean and it just makes it world space, so it doesn't actually have a trigger box around it. No,
I mean like if you're trying to activate or deactivate something, but it's set to local space, but the thing you're activating or deactivating isn't within range, it doesn't want to work. Or if that thing isn't like spawned in yet because it's in like a different loading zone or whatever, it doesn't like that. Like we have to completely rework some of this stuff anyway.
I was thinking about the way you could do it maybe is like we could try to implement interfaces so that instead of it directly, like I don't think use the interfaces now, like maybe have the enemies have certain functions, like when it dies it sends out an interface to like certain things are connected to it, and you can have enemy linker connected to it, and then the enemy linker will send out a function saying, oh, I've been activated to whatever is connected to it.
Can this be used to spawn/despawn anything, not just a goal ring? Currently, no, but honestly, all this logic that I use to create this system it's
what? The enemy trigger turns on and off barriers.
Yeah, but what that means is we don't have an enemy or an object spawner. We don't have something that says, "Hey, spawn this if active." We don't have something like that. So it's not difficult to set up, and honestly, we could set it up relatively quickly and easily. It would require some some bug testing and other things.
Literally just talking about a enemy spawner as well a minute ago.
Yeah, we were
Or
just
just
talking
even
about,
an object spawner.
yeah, just a spawner actor in general. Something we were planning on probably doing eventually anyway. It's not been a very high priority, but if we get around to it here soon, we will. But it is something we do plan on adding ultimately at the end of the day. Imagine designing a puzzle that involves turning the gold ring on and off. I was actually thinking about that too. Like, I was thinking of, like, obviously I wouldn't do this in the framework, but like if I were to create a really disgusting troll level, I would make the gold ring destructible and make it so that you would have to like escort the gold ring, but then activate and deactivate it at certain instances, so that way the gold ring doesn't get destroyed before you can like access it. And like if you successfully get to the very end of the level without the gold ring getting destroyed, then you beat it, you know?
Just think of Mario Maker stuff.
Yeah, Mario Maker shit.
Yeah. Oh god, Mario Maker.
And you have to do the entire level with wisps. Rhythm wisp.
With the rhythm wisp. So yeah. I think for the most part.
Oh, Eggman's got a new home in this debug room. He's still here, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
He's just he's got a new home.
We expanded the debug room a little bit. Eggman's here. He zips around on his little track.
Zips.
Sonic Meteor announcer. Goal!
No. I have that voice clip. I have all the voice clips. I mean, I have like all the sound effects. My PC is dying, guys. I'm running out of storage.
It is.
It is.
And that's it. There's no other changes. Nothing cool at all that has been worked on.
Manuel has not been doing anything at all. Like, he's just been sitting doing absolutely nothing.
I've just been eating fruitcake.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
There has been absolutely no changes made to a certain Chuckles or anything like that. That isn't really fucking neat.
No,
So
not at all.
that's the end of the dev stream. That's it. No more. There's nothing else. That's it.
All
I
right.
quit.
Bye.
Go home, guys.
Yeah, I'm fucking tired anyway, but whatever. Let's get over with.
I got Puyo Puyo to play, so
I have Mean Bean Machine.
I gotta go play Mean Bean Machine.
Okay, as a quick aside, I don't know why, but Fizz started playing Mean Bean Machine, and he was like getting fucking railed. I was like, I want to try this. I buy it for $125, and I subsequently get railed. And we start
Mean Bean
talking about Puyo
Machine's
Puyo.
hard. Okay. Mean
It
Bean
is
Machine
hard.
is fucking hard.
I've been sitting here watching Fizz slowly lose more and more of his sanity over the past few weeks that we have been taking a break, because he's been deciding to spend that time playing Mean Bean Machine.
You still haven't changed Chuckle's hands?
No.
I mean, we re-rigged him so his hands look better now. Whew.
You're still.
He's got a new rig.
Yeah.
He's been had a new rig.
I mean, his
I
hands
know-
are massive. Like, if you're talking about the size of his hands, we're not going to change that.
Yeah.
That would alter his
Look.
character design.
Silhouette.
Yeah.
Silhouette.
Oh, there's one thing I did add. If you do an uppercut at enemy, there's that. Technically, it's in the original build, but nobody's shown it off yet. I think.
What is the flame particle or?
Particle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were getting sad because nobody was showing off your flame particle.
Yeah.
But there was a small thing hidden underneath that thing. I know we showed it off on Twitter, but just for people on stream in case they didn't see it. The new particles.
Oof, is my
Oh,
stream dying? Or?
Yeah, your stream is kind of dying.
It was dying a little bit. It seems to be okay now. But I was just saying, Fizz, like,
Go to the breakable barriers.
yeah,
What about him?
show that particle for what I've worked on invincibility. Just
Oh,
for the
right.
Or
people
just
on that
become
machine.
invincible.
Yeah. Well,
Or
this is a new particle that I've worked on. This was literally the first thing I did when I decided to start pseudo working on our time off.
Also,
Actually, just break an invisibility capsule.
I don't know who pushed that enemy there, but they need to get rid of it.
That was
annoying
me.
the hell out of me. You guys need to stop just placing enemies everywhere. Christ.
That one was because I was going to start using that to test the new AI, but I couldn't actually use it for the new AI, so I just forgot. to remove him.
There was an issue that Reese literally just fixed where if you touched an object or like an item box inside of a loading zone and then you left, and then you come back from the loading zone, that item box would be broken, but that is no longer the case anymore.
Yeah, that's been fixed. If you guys played the demo, you might have realized that, but it's been fixed now. But yeah, there we go, there's invincibility.
Yep, and the item box also plays a little like icon on the top right.
Yeah, you can also show off the speed shoes now because they work properly.
Yeah, the speed shoes actually work now, as intended.
The speed shoes were actually broken, you guys. I don't know if you realized, because as soon as somebody hit a speed shoe,
and they would be speed.
Stuck. You'd be stuck going really fast for a while.
There
we go. And you can also see how these icons disappear, and then it will move. Oh, and replace that icon.
Yep.
Do y'all want me to share your live streams to people on different Discords?
You can if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say that's up to Fizz. I don't see any harm to it.
Yeah.
I think his touch speed's a little high, but other than that, I like it.
Yeah, it probably is a little bit high. So as you can see with the statistics here, your max speed changes, your acceleration changes. And
by the way, those icons will be optional. Just a small little thing.
Yeah.
I'll be just 2 minutes, by the way, as well.
But then, like, as soon as it's over, everything drops back down. The values that you see are not final at all. There's just something we put there as a placeholder. Unlike Sonic, I don't... Wait. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. So yeah, that's it. There's absolutely nothing else about Knuckles.
Oh wait, there's one more thing. If you exit a drill dive by gliding, it will like actually cause you to glide, like it will cause you to fall much more quickly. Before you could cancel, if you cancel that, you would just kind of still glide as if nothing was happening.
So if I drill dived and then glide, I would still fall faster. That way, like,
just consequences.
Yeah. It's not like super fucking broken. So yeah, that's it. There's absolutely nothing else about Knuckles that we added or anything.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yep. There's absolutely nothing else. Nothing else at all. Knuckles doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, nothing new. It's kind of boring actually.
Yeah.
I honestly like. I mean, I enjoyed the time we had of like just not working on a project at all. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just not doing anything. Like honestly, it was hard to think of things to even do. Like what else can you add to the characters to make them interesting? You know, like Knuckles just punches things. That's all he does.
Yep. Poor Knuckles. He's not had anything new added to him at all.
Yeah, just boring stuff like just tweaks.
Yep. God damn it.
What's goddamn it?
Well, my sister keeps messaging me on Steam. I don't know why she messaged me on Steam.
That's actually a weird place to get messaged. Yeah.
Like, why?
I mean, your avatar covered it up. So.
Could add the wall dash. That is something we're planning on adding. We are fully aware of the wall dash, and that's something we are taking into account when we're designing this.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe the wall dash could be added, but there's nothing else new to add to Knuckles I could think of. Maybe we can give him a different hat.
We should give him a different hat.
Yeah.
I can't, like, look at Knuckles now without the hat. It just looks weird.
It does. Knuckles without a hat is weird to me now.
Cheer, guys. We've got
No, Michael. Like, there's nothing new we can add. Knuckles only known for fighting and gliding and maybe wall climbing.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
What else are we gonna add? Okay, let's actually talk about it. Okay, so.
Alright, that's nice.
Yeah. I guess I'll talk about it. So, we've actually been working on this for a while, or at least we had the idea. All the way back in like June, I worked on something called tunneling for Knuckles in like a branch I made, and it was terrible. It would like constantly force Knuckles to go forward, and it would like it would stick to walls automatically and stuff like that. and it was not very fun and really janky. But I still wanted to add in a system where Knuckles could dig around, because Knuckles, right now Knuckles can go underground and dig into the ground and then pop out. And I was like, what if he can scurry around like Bugs Bunny? So I started working on this, and how it works essentially is you pretty much just have regular movement controls, although you have different stats, like you accelerate faster, you have a lower top speed, and you leave behind this particle, which is very work in progress. And also, Fizz can probably show off, you can transition onto walls in this mode too. And if you're on a wall while you're doing this, you're pretty much just wall climbing, but with a particle, and you move a bit faster. You barely made it on there.
Yeah, I know.
One thing you can also do, if you go to a slope, if you go up a slope onto a wall, you'll automatically transition into a wall climb, or you'll start scaling it, and vice versa. You can't go upside down though. That's still going to cause you to fall out. You need to find a way of exploring or showing that off.
I just did.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm talking about we need like a particle or something to indicate to the player, hey, you're about to fall off.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as you can probably also see, you can actually charge up a jump by holding it. So you hold down the jump button, and you begin to slow down, and you also charge up a jump. And when you charge up pretty much all the way, you'll have these cool little after images. And while you're in this mode, if you hit a wall or the ground, you'll automatically go back into a tunneling mode or digging mode. You can cancel it by gliding, rolling, or punching while in the air. And you can do small little dolphin dive hops too, which are pretty cool. And if Fizz hits an enemy, as you've probably seen, you will see him like hit an enemy and hit them. By the way, it doesn't actually deal any damage to the enemy, but it knocks them away. That's something we'll probably work on. But if you hit the ground while you've been hitting an enemy, you'll actually automatically roll into them.
Yeah, that's not me hitting the roll button. That's Knuckles automatically rolling into the enemy.
Yeah, no, it's not. It does it automatically for you. Of course, you can still cancel the hop with a roll if you want to, or with a glide, or with a spike move. But if you hit the ground, you don't automatically tunnel, which is actually a conscious decision by us, because we realized that we don't want Knuckles to just dig into the ground and just kind of dolphin dive everywhere and just fuck up enemies. You want it so that if you actually hit an enemy, you just can't tunnel again, at least not immediately. And one other thing, as you probably noticed, enemies can't see you, nor can you hit enemies while you're in this mode, and you actually can't interact with most objects. Like, obviously you can hit walls and stuff, but you can't hit springs, you can't collect rings, dash stones don't affect you. Yeah. You can still technically be damaged in this mode, which I may change around. But that's pretty much it. Actually, I think you can still, you can still be shot technically. I didn't work with that interaction, but enemies can't see you.
God damn it.
Nice.
God damn it, they keep flying too far away to do it.
I may have to work on that some more. If you notice, like, they stick to you a bit more when you punch them, which is supposed to help it so that if you uppercut, they're more likely to just be right in front of you. Yep.
So
and that's pretty much it for that.
This is pretty much the main major thing, like, about this this dev stream is Knuckles' digging code. We've done a couple of other things and all that stuff, but we've not had too much time to work on it since our holiday break. What are you saying, Emmanuel?
I was gonna say also, if you want to use the old digging code that we had, there is actually like a enum you can use, so you can switch between the two. And there's also a third mode I'm going to add, where it's just literally the digging from like SA2, where you automatically pop out. a certain distance after a certain time. So that will be added in too. So you can have 3 different modes of digging.
Does it work underwater?
Yeah.
It does.
Yep. Actually, if you're underwater, you accelerate even more slowly. So you're disincentivized from being underwater and using this.
That is also one other thing that we kind of forgot to mention. This isn't like the final state of it, obviously. One thing we're planning on or thinking of playing around with is limiting this with like an O2 meter, because this is very powerful. I mean, being able to just dig around and stay undetected by enemies indefinitely.
Yeah. I mean, you have a lower top speed, but that's pretty much the only downside.
Yeah, like your max speed is like essentially halved. But that is literally essentially the only downside. So what we're thinking of doing is tying your O2 meter to it. That way you can't just sit here and stay digging forever. Fist fatigue. Yeah, it would kind of be like that. If your O2 meter drops down below 0 and you're digging, it's not going to kill you. It'll just pull you back out automatically, unlike underwater, where it'll kill you. So.
Yeah, I wonder what it'll do if you're underwater and digging. That's something I have to think about.
Probably none. Like if it recognizes you're underwater, it would kill you. But.
Yeah. And I feel like what we could do maybe is every time you enter the ground, you automatically get like 10 O2 points or whatever, a breath meter taken away, so that and if you're jumping, it doesn't refill. That way you can't just jump and repeatedly have it like refresh it that way. Knuckles is that Michael Phelps subway commercial swimming through land.
There goes that fucker.
Yeah, it's actually really satisfying to like carry an enemy with you, essentially. I may have to change it a bit because it does seem like it's a bit excessive, I admit, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Drown underground. Knuckles is. Oh, yeah, you just read that.
Drown underground. There's more stuff I do want to add to this feature. Like, for instance, you can hold down the jump button to get a jump. I also want to add in like a dash you can do. You hold down the punch button, and it'll like shoot you like on the ground in a direction you're holding. And maybe even when you leave, you have like a drill dive animation playing that harms enemies. And I think what would be kind of cool is that you're incentivized to hit enemies with, because you leave at like a really high speed, like faster than your base run speed. But if you hit an enemy, it prolongs how long you're in this heightened speed state. So you can actually go faster by going underground, charging up a drill dash, and then like drilling into an enemy and like going really fast in like that direction.
Does it work in 2D? That's a good question. It actually does work in 2D.
Yeah, I made sure of that. You can also technically like you can also jump between walls with it if you want to. Like, there's 2 walls next to each other, you could kind of pseudo wall jump between the 2. It's not honestly faster, because you have to like charge up a jump and go between them and like all of that stuff. But it's kind of cool. I may try to see if there's anything else I could do to make this move more fluid in some cases, because that's a thing. But one thing I do want to talk about that was actually kind of I want to talk about, because we've had this move idea. We haven't been working on it consistently for a while. I only really started working on like this iteration of the move like over Christmas break. But I had the idea of it for a while, like all the way back in June. But something that's happened, this is like a bit meta contextual, is that other projects actually have iterations or digging ideas for Knuckles. Most notably, Momentum Project, made by Wolfbane, and Project Hero, made by both Hero.
Yeah.
And that actually gave me a bit of a crisis of conscience, because first, like, Wolfbane made, like, he showcased his Knuckles and he could like dig underground, but in 2D it looks very different, because when he digs underground, he actually kind of like it's like a drill. It's like when you have the drill west, you can maneuver underground and all of that. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but like I didn't steal from that, obviously, because you can't do that in 3D. He just kind of has a different state. But right when I was working on this move, actually, Project Hero actually released some new like teaser updates videos.
Yeah.
and they were working on Knuckles, and Knuckles actually had his punch removed and replaced with a burrowing system that looks very similar to this one. Like, okay, first of all, I'm not saying he stole from us, but
No, we're not saying anyone stole from anyone.
Yeah, no, we're not saying that, but I just felt kind of bad for a second because when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is not going to look unique or original because people, if anything, people will think we're stealing from Project Hero.
Yeah.
Which
isn't true because we've actually been prototyping and playing around with this idea since last year.
Yeah.
So we just put it onto the side to work on combat-related stuff. Hey everyone, been watching the stream VODs on YouTube. So glad to finally catch the live stream. Thank you for
oh hey,
joining in, Super Dion Bro. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Super Dion Bro or yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, I kind of realized that like literally everyone who's developing Knuckles, except for maybe like Sonic Chronicles, Sonic Adventure Chronicles, was like, hey, let's make Knuckles move around like Bugs Bunny when he digs. I guess it's what you call convergent evolution when everyone literally has the same idea.
Yeah, that's kind of literally what happened, is like everyone literally was like, oh, let's all give Knuckles a dig, and everyone kind of just did it their own way.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
I think Momentum Engines obviously is the most different because it's in 2D. Project Hero is looking pretty nice. Like, don't think for a second it's like, oh, Project Hero is doing our thing. I'm not mad at all.
Oh, no.
Like,
I think Project Hero is doing really, really good right now. Wow.
Yeah, I forgot what originally inspired this move. I think it was just like, oh, originally, like, this was going to be like Knuckles' version of like, so like Sonic can drift by holding on a trigger button. I was like, what can be Knuckles' movement mode? And I thought, well, you know, digging. Which it isn't, you activate this move currently by drill diving, although we do want to add in an ability for Knuckles to just do it while in the air. I mean, on the ground, by double tapping crouch, maybe?
Like, yeah, if double tapping crouch for Sonic allows him to kick, we were thinking double tapping crouch for Knuckles allows him to, like, dig into the ground. That way you don't have to jump into the air, and you have to be at the proper height, and you have to be holding the crouch button and all that stuff. All you gotta do is, like, probably be moving at the correct speed, but simply, like, double tapping will cause Knuckles to, like, burrow into the ground seamlessly from a running state, hopefully.
Holy shit, Shiranui, that's actually kind of cool. You see the idea he just posted?
Can the spin dash be canceled into a dig? That would be interesting.
Yeah, because I just thought of that, like, first of all, no, it can't currently, but what if you can do that, and then if you try to spin dash and then dig, you automatically get, like, the highest charge for, like, any move you want to do. Kind of like, remember, like, when I originally created the, Sonic Boom for Sonic, and you had to use a spin dash to charge it up? Like, it would be kind of like that. You charge spin dash, and you convert that into a digging sort of state. That would actually be really cool. Thank you. I know you didn't post that as an idea, but, like, that actually would be a cool concept.
That would be a cool idea. We can play around with something like that.
Yeah. I think Fizz already showed off that once again, this move cannot interact with objects at all, pretty much, except for like water and projectiles. But also, if you jump on like a spring while you're tunneling, you will continue to be in that state, which is kind of funny. This maybe something I will change, but for the momentum spring, at least, it's kind of cool, actually.
Boing. A dig dash. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, a dig dash. We did consider the idea of a dig dash. But...
A dig dash?
Yeah, like a dash that you can do while digging.
Wasn't I just talking about that? Like holding on the punch button and you charge up at like a... Yeah. That's something I'll probably... Either I'll work on next, or I'll shelve the digging for now and work on something else for Knuckles. I don't think it'll be hard, though, so I'm kind of conflicted on what to do next.
Let me catch up on chat now that you're done talking about that. Shibian Bro said, yeah, that was a trade of Bugs Bunny he used to dig. Yeah, that was a thing. Michael's Furry Cat. Project Hero pretty much made fun of Infinity Engine last year, but I believe, in his own words, he wants to see the Infinity Engine to improve. I don't really know a lot of the opinions of other people on the Infinity Engine. I know for a fact that Wolfbait likes the Infinity Engine. He works on Momentum. He's said to us directly multiple times that he really likes it, so that makes
That's
me happy.
always nice.
I believe Galaxy has stated that he really likes our work as well. We don't really talk to Galaxy too often, but on the occasion that we do talk to him, he usually has nothing but nice things to say.
I don't think I've actually seen Hero's opinions on us. He doesn't really talk that often.
Yeah, he doesn't talk too often. I'm pretty sure he has said, but I just probably wasn't really paying attention.
Oh, actually, no, on Twitter. I think he says something about the original engine.
Yeah,
the original engine.
He did diss the original engine, which is fair. The original engine is pretty shit, you know? But
I would diss it, like...
A lot of people have done that before, like, that's not new. A lot of people have dissed the original engine.
Yeah, and it's not like we take offense from that, like, that's valid.
I don't take offense from it, because it's not my work. It's the original Infinity engine. But, you know.
Yeah, we're not gonna suck the original engine's dick. That's why we're working on it, because we think that was flawed in many ways.
Yeah, it was unfinished. That's what we set out to do, is to finish it, so...
And add to it.
Make something of our own out of it.
Yeah, because in terms of finishing the engine, I think we've pretty much done that. If like that was the original goal, like just finish it. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I think almost you could even say Max and Adam's pretty much done that almost. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about bad mouthing engine, like well, not bad mouthing, but there were people who in the Project Hero Discord, I think, who weren't really big fans of the engine, who brought up some points about it being like kind of bloated, which is fair. Which is fair, but that's also assessment. Kind of the point.
Yeah. Arsenal Force said boost meter for Knuckles, but only for digging. We have considered the idea of repurposing the boost meter for other things outside of just the boost and speed characters. We'll have to play around and test that idea.
Yeah, I did have an idea for power characters of having a sort of meter, and for Knuckles it'll be represented by like an emerald shard, but that's something I would have to work on later. But
yeah, we did.
An idea.
We did toss around the idea of an overheat meter. You remember that the overheat meter?
Oh yeah.
Like as you do combos and stuff, you build up an overheat meter, and you can like go into like a fury mode or something like that. We played around with the idea of something like that.
Yeah, I think that's something I could still work on later, because if I were to elaborate on that, my idea of how it would work is that as Knuckles hits enemies or hits enemies with certain moves, like for instance, if you drill dash directly through an enemy in the air, it will like fill up the meter even more. And once it's filled up, Knuckles goes into this mode where he think of kind of like Shadow's Rage mode, like he will get increased stats, and he will also charge up like you have the charge punch, but you also have like the charge. You can also charge up different moves while digging. Those will charge up pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
So you'll be incentivized to. Sorry, continue.
Real quick, I just want to say this real quick before we get too far. Whenever we say we played around with the idea, we mainly mean verbally. There is no like code in the engine anywhere like left over from these ideas or anything. We've not put any of these ideas into the engine. These are all, you know, verbal conceptualizations and discussion.
Just we've played around with them mentally and thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
What was it?
I just wanted to clear that up so that way people don't think that, you know, there's like leftover code or we secretly have it being worked on in the background. That's not the case.
Oh no, like we pretty much show almost everything we've been working on.
Yeah.
Like in these dev streams. That was the whole point of having these, so we could be more transparent and just show off our work, you know?
Yep.
But
yeah, get more interactive. As you saying.
That was the idea for the idea for Knuckles is I'll have a whole heat bar or like focus bar that constantly drains, but you fill up by doing combos or doing certain moves, and then it'll enhance your other moves essentially. Especially like digging, charging up your dig, charging up your punch, your charge, punch moves and stuff like that, and maybe other stat boosts. But I just think it would be kind of cool where it'll be kind of like meter that's charged by just fulfilling specific conditions versus just a meter that you have from just doing anything almost, like what speed characters have.
Yeah.
And of course, flight characters have stamina bar, which I just realized the first stamina bar for flight characters to appear was in Sonic Heroes when you think about it.
Yeah, kind of was. One tiny little feature about the dig we kind of forgot to mention is if you're digging on a flat surface with ledges, it will actually prevent you from going off the ledge. So you can't accidentally dig off a ledge or anything like that. It'll stop you.
Yeah, of course you can jump off, but it does, just like with the wall climbing, how it will stop you from going off ledges, you can't go off a ledge while you're digging, which was actually pretty easy to implement. And yes, you can dive into water.
I literally just
stops you for some reason?
Well, it's water. It's going to.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're hitting something when you initially contact with it, which is fine. But
Well,
it probably
remember,
just
the water has collision on. I think it has it on by default, but it has to turn the collision off of a plane. Because whenever you run on water, you are actually not running on the water volume, you're running on a plane.
that's true, actually.
And that plane collision gets turned off once you move below a certain speed. So it probably has to recognize that you're moving below that speed, and then it turns off the collision.
That's probably what it is. Also, I love how this is being like this idea of like the boost meter with Knuckles, but it's just Hat mind controlling him.
Yeah, I
like
saw
the
that too.
And the Cappy from Mario. Just turn Knuckles into Mario. He's already red.
Yep. Played around with the idea equals made a full game back by Miller right before it shipped. You recalled everything. Yeah, that's totally what we mean by played around with the idea.
Yeah. Played around.
We had Sega on the phone and everything. You know, Sega was all up. So like, hey, make this and just package it. You know. Shit rock. Yeah. We got shit rock going. See all these rocks that Knuckles are shitting? It's shit rock.
That's what he's doing. God, this particle looks weird when you think about it. Because just like particles, just rocks are just like. Whoop, whoop. And also, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it seems to be fun to do.
Oh, this is so satisfying to do. Like, this is really satisfying.
I imagine it'll get old after a while if you were just to constantly do it, but it's fun at least initially.
No, I just do that.
Which means that.
What?
There you go first.
You go first. Okay.
I was gonna say it being fun means that we've like that's always good, and if it's fun, that means we're doing something right. Kind of like some stuff with the comedy we did for Sonic and some other things. It means like, oh yeah, we did a thing that was fun, and we could possibly go lean heavier into it later if we really need to, or we could work on other things that are also fun.
Super Dion Bro says fine, he'll go first. Not you two can't go first. Super Dion Bro will go first.
Okay, Super Dion, what do you have to say? No, take your turn.
Yeah,
Go. We're just bullying him.
God damn it. Can you dig around the Taros in the sky?
That's the ring.
It's a donut.
Oh.
That's what's called.
Yeah, you can technically do that.
Yeah.
Once you go... Oh.
Once you go so far, though, it'll kick you out.
It has problems recognizing, because, like, the wall climb will automatically detect once the surface you're attached to is below a certain angle, in which case it'll transfer you to a walking state. And the digging, I don't know if the digging has that taken into account.
The digging pretty much is used as the wall climbing code for that, so...
It'll do it going up, but it won't go down.
Yeah, that's... Oh, fuck. I have to look into that then.
But it will not go upside down.
The thing I was just going to try and mention a minute ago is when it comes to us releasing the project, we're going to have several versions, well, 2 versions to download for people. We're having the full version where it's going to have everything that we show off in it, really.
Yeah.
But then we're going to have a light version. I mean, I've probably mentioned this last stream, last year, but I'm just going to keep mentioning it every other stream now. We plan to make like a light version which doesn't have any extra assets such as like a bunch of level meshes and textures and stuff. It'll just clearly have objects, enemies and characters. So for people that don't want to download like an absolutely humongous file, you can just download the light version and get the very bare minimum of what you need. But the full version will just have some extra assets to just spark some creativity, I guess, or something that, you know, get your kick started.
Yep.
Super Dion Bro, will Knuckles have a Kenshiro style million Mach punch where he explodes enemies' heads in mere nanoseconds? Yes. Yes.
Let me catch up on the chat real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like Sonic. Oh, that's what Super Dion Bro said. He said he's like Sonic. What if he had a fire shield and when he digs, he leaves lava? that would be more of like an aesthetic instance thing, to be honest. Like if you wanted that, you'd probably end up having to do that yourself. It would be a very interesting aesthetic detail. It would be really cool, but probably not what we would end up doing.
Yeah, it's simply because of time. Like, if you notice, we put this update back a whole bunch, and we don't want to dedicate like 2 days to working on that when 2 days could be spent pretty much finishing up anything else.
We're going to be moving on to Tails very soon, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Arsenal Ford asked, is there a customizable way to change the digging material particle for different land he digs through? Yes, there is a way, and I believe we actually have a system that tracks what materials, not necessarily the material, like
not
the physics
fully
material.
implemented yet.
It's not
fully implemented yet.
Yeah, it's not implemented, it's not ready, but it is possible. We'll have to set it up that way, and that is something that we were already thinking of doing. Or at least I thought of. Like, I had that same idea. Like, oh, if I'm digging in snow versus, on dirt versus in grass, you may want to throw up a different particle.
Yeah.
That is a different idea.
My idea was simply just sampling literally the material that you're standing on and just pasting that material onto the meshes that you're using. But the problem is that if you're sampling, like, say, grass, for instance, you probably wanted to not have grass show up, but actual just dirt.
Yeah.
Because if you dig into grass, there's going to be dirt underneath. But if you dig into dirt, you want it to be dirt.
It's just Omega with a mask of tails over his face. Omega is a spy.
Yep. Omega's a spy.
No, I am not.
Real quick, I did want to make one other comment, and then we can go back to what Emmanuel was talking about beforehand. I'm going to be working on a couple more Wisp objects. I have a few more Wisp objects in mind that I can put together relatively quickly, and we can assemble that doesn't require too much time or effort to pour into it. But after that, I'm actually going to start trying to prototype Tails' abilities. Like, Emmanuel worked on all of, Sonic's, in terms of the actual code. He did the actual coding. We all technically, worked on the conceptualization.
Concept.
But Emmanuel's one that worked on the actual physical coding of the abilities for both Tails and Knuckles. But here soon, I'm going to start working on Tails.
He's also been doing Silver, by the way.
Yeah, I've been doing Silver.
Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of, like, I think I helped Fizz once with, like, the blocks, but Silver's pretty much just been all Fizz.
Yeah, Reese did create the Psycho Shot for Silver, though. Like,
Very work on it, but it's there.
Yeah, that needs to be changed.
Psycho Knife.
Yeah, but like Fizz has been working pretty much just mostly on the Wisp and other things. So once the Wisps are mostly done, Fizz is probably just gonna kind of move on to work on Tails, Silver, like character-related stuff.
Yeah.
Although the Wisps are kind of
on
like
that yellow one.
Say what?
I love that you keep going to pick on that yellow and black one.
Well, fuck that one.
I've also been working on other object-related things, like the Wisp objects and these objects.
Water interactions.
Yeah, there's a lot of other logistical things going on.
I was just thinking that for Silver, we still have to do the whole swimming enemies for Silver so you can pick up enemies and stuff. We haven't forgotten about that, it's just we haven't had a chance to really get around to coding that yet.
Yeah, that's because
do it.
we have to rework the enemies first before we get into that, because I don't want to code the master enemy to take stunning into account, and then all of a sudden we have to like rework it anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's why we're using the new behavior tree version. We're gonna try and work that into that code.
Yeah.
So
Next thing I need to probably need to do is see if I can work what you've done into the master enemy somehow, or vice versa.
I think it'd be better to start like slowly porting stuff to the newer enemy, because then you can clean out stuff that may like not be up to date anymore and stuff, or you might find better ways. I honestly think when you go like through something again, it's better because you're able to find stuff that maybe like more outdated, and you can do a better job of it now than you could back then. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
I just realized
we're gonna work on that later on anyway. Like, don't worry about it just yet.
I did realize another change I've made to the project here recently. I made a post about this on Twitter, I believe. The homing attack code has been altered so that it changes its tracking properties depending on if you're using keyboard and mouse. So if I'm using keyboard and mouse here, and as I move my camera around, it's going to track the target closest to the center of the screen, like so.
Yep.
However, if I swap and I play on controller, which as you can see I'm doing right now, it'll instead track the target that is closest to Sonic. So it doesn't matter which direction the camera is pointing in, it's always going to track the target that is closest to Sonic's location. So that means people who are playing with controller have less to worry about with the camera in terms of how the homing attack functions. So this should help make playing with a controller a lot nicer.
And smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things we're working on for the camera soon for controller players, because camera controls with keyboard and mouse isn't too bad, because you get to move the camera with your mouse, and it feels a little bit more natural, but it's definitely not, like, as we always see people go on about how the camera isn't very good in this, but we understand with controller it's quite difficult to get the game flowing exactly the same as with keyboard and mouse. It's on our priority list.
Yeah.
We've just got other things to work on first.
I vastly personally prefer playing with keyboard and mouse, but a lot of other people like playing with controller because it feels more natural to them. And the homing attack is just one of those things that needed to be changed for controller. So it changes dynamically as you're playing too. It's not something you got to change in the setting or anything like that. So I'm sure that'll be very helpful for those who play with the controller. Let's hear to catch up on chat real quick. There's a lot of
Go do that.
Will Professor Pickle be playable by default? You have to unlock Sonic by defeating the final boss with Super Pickle.
Professor Pickle trademark.
Yeah, Professor Pickle trademark. Obviously, if we don't have Professor Pickle, what was even the point of doing all of this?
Professor Pickle's already in the engine.
Yeah.
You can change.
You're just not ready for him.
We can't actually play as them anymore. I think we got the
We did used to have it like a Professor Pickle playable.
Someone gets it. Because I meant to say it.
Yep.
Trademark.
Professor Pickle appreciation fan cam. Shinuni says, in what order do you think the characters will be done? I thought you were going to give the speed, power, flight characters some base movement moves, and then individually give the characters different quirks and stuff. We never really had the idea of giving each individual characters separate moves. As in, like, whenever we say separate moves, we mean like all brand new abilities. We did just talk about this the other day, and I will continue on this in a minute, but mainly what we want is to, again, work on speed characters first, which we have done, and we're still, making tweaks and adjustments as we go along. We're currently working on the power characters, and then we're getting ready to move on to the flight characters, and all this stuff is going to be uniform for characters of that class. So, like, all the speed characters will have all these same abilities, like, the homing wrecker, the homing charge, and all that stuff. That's something that's going to be uniform for all speed characters. And Knuckles' basic combo, his charged combos, and a few other things like guarding, that's going to be uniform for all power characters. And whatever we come up and create for Tails is going to be uniform for all flight characters. But we have considered and played around with the idea of giving each individual characters some unique abilities. I know for a fact that I've stated in the past that I would like to, but I don't remember if we've ever stated that we were actually going to. Because, as you can probably tell, we're like, 6 months into the development of this update? 6-7 months, and we're only on power characters. We still have an entire other class to go, and that's not even talking about the reworking of the enemies that we are currently doing right now. So if we wanted to, like, add a whole bunch of individual abilities for each individual character, that's going to drag the development of this out way longer than we wanted to. We have considered the idea of, like, I brought this up, which is what I was talking about earlier. I brought this up to the team a few days ago, saying that we could give each individual character maybe like 1 or 2 maybe unique abilities. Like I brought forth the idea like maybe this perch ability is something exclusive to Sonic, and maybe Shadow, instead of doing a perch, will throw a Chaos Spear, or you know, Blaze would shoot a fireball or something like that, something more unique. Like we could always save a slot or alter one specific ability function per character to help give each character a little bit more of a unique feel in combat. Another thing that I know that we had suggested that we would do, we probably still will actually do, is alter minor minor attributes to abilities. Like, you know, maybe make Shadow's home attack faster, but he gets like less airtime out of it. Or maybe Blaze gets more airtime out of her homing attack, but it's a lot slower than Sonic's, and Sonic's like a middle ground. Or maybe, you know, Metal Sonic has slightly altered gravity, so he falls faster, something like that. Like, there are minor statistic adjustments that we can make to the attributes of their abilities for each individual character, and that's something we are probably going to eventually do. But as for like coming up with entirely new move sets for each individual character, that's not going to happen. We'll probably come up with like an ability or two that we can replace and swap out, and we're even considering making these individual like home attack modifiers more modular. So like if you wanted to, instead of like have a homing chain mapped to the X button, maybe a different ability is mapped to the X button or something like that. That's something else we're planning on doing. That way, if people want to come up with their own moves or want to customize the characters their own way, they can do so. But expecting us to come up with entirely unique combat moves for each individual character that we are planning on adding, because like, look at all these characters. We've got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, that's Shadow, Blaze, and Metal Sonic. That's 3 other completely unique characters we would have to create moves for. Whisper, which is a character we're already going to be altering and creating brand new moves for. There's also Silver, who we have to adjust his currently existing moveset to be better. But then we also have Mighty and Honey. That's like a lot of characters we have to design for.
Mighty and Honey we don't worry about until we're after we call the engine done. That's what the Hood Plus Pack system is. It's, again, for anybody who maybe knew.
Well, we still want to make it so that... Sorry.
I was just saying, it's just characters that you can download after the fact from like the same place you get the engine. So, like, just an additional thing. It's just if somebody wants those characters.
I was just saying, like, we still have to make so that we still want to make sure the master character and the power parents and whatnot still supports their code or whatever. So, for instance, like we're thinking about for Mighty, spoiler, that he can pick up like maybe multiple enemies or 1 or 2 enemies at once. We still have to make it so that the power parent code, which supports picking up enemies, can support that code, and we don't have to like change that too, because then like you have to download the project again. We want to make sure that you can download just a file, place it in a project, and you're good to go.
Because Unreal actually, if you don't mess around with the location of certain things, I mean, it's not too much of a problem if you did. Like if you move the master character to a different folder, if you don't like move certain things, Unreal's actually kind of okay with you just getting a file and dragging and dropping it into the system, like into the content browser, like in your file browser, not in Unreal. I mean, I think you can do an import thing or a merge, but
we do need to find a way.
Like a folder and putting it in the characters folder, that should do the trick, and then it would reference where the master character is, and everything should function normally. I think I have tested this a while back, and that's when I first started thinking like, yeah, we can probably add an additional character or 2 after we're done, because once the engine's finished and everything's like coded in, making characters doesn't take too long. The reason this has been taking so long is because we've been rewriting a crap ton of stuff. But after it's all done, making characters should be a lot more quicker and efficient.
One thing to keep in mind also, well, actually, this is a question for you, Reese. How would you make it so that when you just drop in a new character folder or something like that, how would you make it simpler to just add the character to the level selects or character options? Because if you just add in a folder, I don't think that, like, can you make it so that...
add in the folder, but I'd make like an instruction tutorial or something.
Yeah,
there's a little bit you have to do. Like, I'm saying you can drag and drop the assets in and they'll work, but they won't function with like other systems like the menu and stuff. That you would have to add the character to a data table, which exists in the project right now. That's where all of the character information is stored.
Mhm.
But once it's added to the data table, that's it. It's there and it's usable.
Okay.
To move on with the chat.
Yeah.
Sonic, Fortnite dances, Shadow whips, and Nays were easy fix. Yeah, those are their special abilities.
Yeah.
Is they can do that.
We're just making pointy Sonic.
So if the big picture of all of this is to finish the framework, is there a goal for everything to do to consider it done? Kind of. I don't know specifically where that like line or that goal line
It's a loose
stands.
goal.
It is kind of a loose goal. Once we get next
living, I think that's what's called a living goal or something, where it moves, it changes.
Yeah.
So we've got an idea.
There are core things that we want to get done in the next update because we're really wanting to like try and push the next update as the final update.
Next upcoming update, not this update we're working on.
Not this currently update.
Yeah, we mean like the next update we will launch will be this colorful combat.
Yeah,
and then we've still got the last update to do after that.
Yeah. We're hoping the update after the colorful combat update will be the last one. There are a lot of core things that we want to get done for that update. There's a lot of additional stage features that we want to add.
Fans, zip lines, swing poles.
Yeah, a couple of other things. There's probably
more enemies.
Yeah, we could do some more enemies. There are a few other logistical things. I don't know if we're going to get it done for this update, but there's the whole thing that, Sonic 06 does where you can add in like a character swapper, or like you'd be able to swap characters on the fly. There's also the whole multiplayer thing that we are still need to look at.
That's a final edition. That's not high on the priority list because it will take too much time to work on, and it would be much better if all three of us were to like focus on that together to work on it. Because I mean, like I'm mainly started the code on it and all that, but to get something like that finished, it would take more than one person. To get it done in a reasonable time, at least. Yeah,
there are things that we want to get done. Like for example, Whisper. Whisper is the last character that we're planning on working on in the next update. We want to get her in a really done and finished state. So we don't know exactly specifically where the end goal lies, but we do know that there are things that we want to get done before we can like push a final update. I'm not like I would prefer we avoid doing this, but I'm not against like having one update after the next one of like minor things, like after people have like after people have had time to play around with it and mess around with it for a while and they come up with like bugs and issues and stuff like that. I wouldn't be against releasing like a major patch afterward, like after some time. But in terms of like, and like even in like if we do release a major patch, we could also like include one or two things we may have forgotten that we wanted to add, but it like if we did do a patch, we wouldn't like add any new major content or anything like that. And then there's also the plus pack characters, which is an entirely different topic. So
yeah, and we'll also endorse and support people who also like if anyone wants to officially like continue Infinity Plus if they ever want to, kind of like what Max Adams did or what we're doing technically.
Yeah.
We're okay with that. We're also free to help, although we're also people, so we're not call center. So if you want help, we'll try to help when we can, but we're not going to make the project for you.
Yeah, so we do have an idea of what we want. We just
when you realize we should have called this Infinity and Beyond.
Infinity and Beyond.
Infinity Plus.
So I know that was a very obscure answer, Arsenal, but like it's honestly the best I can give you. I hope that's enough.
We're not a co-op company. We don't have deadlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, we don't have a deadline, so we can just be more free with what we do. And the
only deadline we have is.
But we want to finish it.
Super Dion Bro asks, I think the uniform class concept works better from understanding it from a player perspective. Actually, having to learn another speed character entirely might get too overwhelming. Yeah, that's a thing as well. That's something that we are trying to go with in terms of like how we're designing the combat, the whole modifier, homing attack modifier. There's also the charge modifier, and then we're also thinking of something similar for the flight characters, but good to that. Can the rails be twisted? That's more on the individual scale of, the individual meshes, because technically, yes, it can be twisted. But whether or not the mesh is designed to work on that kind of spline or whatever is more of a individual problem than, anything else. But
Cheers, mate. The cavalry's
Technically,
here.
yes.
say what?
I'm just saying, technically, yes.
Yeah, technically, yes. Rustic Salomka, thank you for the subscriber. I'm assuming that's to YouTube.
Nice.
If not, and you subscribe to my Twitch, thank you, because that's money for me. I mean, I doubt it, but it's probably to YouTube.
You're telling me you don't have an emergency squad that'll drive to my residence and make the game for me during troubleshoot? Super Dion, bro, we don't have cars.
I do. I don't have a car that functions.
Okay. We're babies. We can't drive. No.
The
I
Infinity,
can drive.
the Infinity Geek Squad. I like that.
We'll fix Sonic for you. Even Sega calls us. Can you fix Sonic? It'll cost you.
Sonic Forces, grappling book.
Hold on. Michael the Furry Cat asked, "Will there be custom characters?" No.
Unless you count Whisper, kind of, but no.
No. Whisper
is
is
the avatar.
yeah. Whisper is the stand-in for Gadget. That's the whole reason we was going for Whisper. Is she's technically a stand-in, which is kind of why we made the what's the word I'm looking for? The exception for Whisper, because she is technically a comic character, and we're not really interested in adding comic characters. She is the exception to the rule because she's a stand-in to an existing video game character, Gadget. So, so that was a great answer. I understand. It's how it goes. Main thing is, at the end of it all, please, if you can have a clear documentation of what blueprints do and what different systems interaction correct. Yeah, that's the big thing we're going to be working on in the next update. There are a select few big things that we're going to be working on. Whisper is one of them, and documentation is another one of them.
We're going to have documentation, and we always said we're going to have tutorial videos.
Yeah. After we kind of finish up development, we're going to start creating some tutorial videos on the different parts and the different chunks and the different areas of the framework for people to look back on and get a more decent understanding on how it works. So
and we'll also have like a proper, we could probably actually make a proper document. It'll probably be a really big one, but actual, like, the Infinity Man.
Yeah, sure. No, you just said the Infinity Manual.
Yeah, like it will just be a text, like
so
probably a PDF or a Word document. And we can even make it open source if people have things to add to it, if we really wanted to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against making that an open source thing.
Yeah, because there'll probably be things we miss or don't elaborate on because either we forgot to or for the sake of time we didn't get to it.
Or we might
people can add to.
Like we could add footnotes or something that like function on a misunderstanding of Unreal and people could change it. Or, if people continue working on it, they use it in, future versions of Unreal that alter how things function, they can go back and rework it. Like, hey, if you're working in Unreal 5, this works differently now,
If you're working on Unreal 8,
it
doesn't function anymore.
Oh yeah, Unreal 5 comes out this year. I forgot.
Yep.
That is a thing this year, isn't it? And we're still using Unreal 4.24.
Yeah.
Look, we'll get there, right? I will eventually have memory so I can upgrade. I mean,
yeah.
Keep
saying that.
Yep.
One thing
I'll get there.
One thing we should probably
sure
say is like we probably won't update this engine to Unreal 5 unless it's super easy for whatever godly reason.
I don't think anybody knows how it's going to go for updating Unreal Engine 5.
Updates to Unreal Engine 5 in 2050. Breathtaking.
Cyberpunk 2077.
But that's not in our plans. If Unreal Engine 5 comes out and we look at it, we're like, holy shit, this needs to go. And if we have that reaction, then that'll be added to the next update, maybe. But I wouldn't count on it. I think Unreal 4 is where Infinity Engine kind of should stay.
The documentation tutorials are a really neat idea. Will for sure motivate new devs to get more comfortable before diving in. Yeah, that's one thing that we constantly struggle with, and I'm a person who tries my best to not be rude to people who clearly don't get something, because I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to get this idea across to you, and you are clearly not taking the hint. But a lot of people seem to think that you can jump into this with like no pre-existing programming or Unreal knowledge at all. Like a lot of people jump into this like, oh, this is Mario Maker. I can just hop in and treat it like Mario Maker. And then they get confused when things don't function as intended, or people get confused whenever, this doesn't work the way that they wanted, or they get frustrated whenever they want to make something very specific that our framework isn't specifically designed for, I try not to get frustrated with people like that, because like they just have to learn, but at the same time I'm really tired of hearing about it. People are like, oh, why can't I make this? I'm like, well, you gotta learn Unreal. You gotta learn this. I can't teach it to you all the time. But the documentation will help with this kind of situation. It won't alleviate and make the problem go away, as we'll probably try to stress that, in the documentation, you have to have an understanding of Unreal Engine to use this framework. But I'm just hoping that the documentation will help, like, prevent me from being asked this question all the time, like, how to Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I made the mistake of like literally the first thing I didn't open Unreal ever really until I started working on this project. But I had the help of like one of my friends who was working in it, did some tutorials, like a class back when, before COVID. And I attended them, and that gave me some basic understandings. And then I just worked with the engine. I worked with Unity before, and I code professionally, so that helped me out. So I did kind of jump in, but I didn't jump in and ask like 20,000 different questions of how to do things. I just sort of figured it out.
It's not a learning curve. It's straight up a wall. It really is kind of a wall.
It is a wall.
It's straight up a learning wall. Maybe y'all should work on Unreal Engine 4 and separately work on Unreal Engine 5. Probably not going to happen. Where make game button? Stupid computer, too stupid to understand my vision. Come on, Unreal. Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, not to bash on
people. Definitely a top priority for us, because we do want it to be accessible.
Yeah.
It's just we release our demos. We don't have documentation for it. We did have tutorials for the combat stuff, but it was just to show it off. It's not how to work on it. But end game, there'll be as much documentation as we can possibly make for it, and also video tutorials on like the basics of how the engine functions, like how you can link stuff together, and how things will work off each other and stuff like that. And essentially, that's what we'd do for that. And then if later on there needs to be addendums made to do it, then yes,
we shall make it.
And people have made great things from our engine. Like we have, of course, we have Tiger Sonic with Reforge.
Yeah.
We have Sonic Spirits from I think just Spirit.
Are those Pix that made that?
Oh yeah, I think Pix.
And I'm pretty sure Pix moved on to something else. Originally, they moved from I+ over to Dash, and I think they dropped Spirits and moved on to something entirely different. And now I don't know what they work on at all, because I've not really been keeping up with it.
And who else? Who's someone who did the beach one? I can't remember his name right now, which makes me feel like an asshole.
The beach one? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Very recent one.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I like that one because it's very inventive. I liked, like, even though we didn't add in features like
I like the scope of it.
Yeah,
the environment was actually really nice to look at. I think there was some areas that were a little over detailed, but like there was some really good areas.
Don't forget, there's the Noto G working on the adventure pack.
I mean, that isn't Infinity Plus though.
Yeah,
still
notable. It is Infinity though.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you can transfer all of your assets from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. I'm pretty sure you can. There's just got to be some conversion going on, and some assets probably aren't necessarily.
Yeah. Nobody knows how that's going to work yet.
Yeah,
because I don't think Unreal's talked about it yet.
There's the whole, you don't need normal maps anymore because Unreal Engine 5 takes advantage of real-time
ray tracing.
Yeah, ray tracing. Which I'm more than sure that Unreal Engine has options to not use that, in which case you would still need to use, normal map textures and things like that. It would be stupid if it didn't, as we're kind of in the middle of a transition. We're kind of in the middle of a transition in game development and technology, so it would be dumb if it didn't have that. You don't need normal maps because Unreal can read your mind now.
Dude, imagine
Unreal can tell
programming
you
would
where
just
the
read
light
your
is.
mind.
It just reminds me of that one fucking gif I saw. It was of Iron Man 1, of like Tony walking down like his garage looking at like a bunch of like holographic screens. He's like, Jarvis, copy and paste what this person said on a sped up gif and repost it. Or like a gif of like a sped up gif of someone crying and repost it.
If once you put computers in our brains, you can pretty much just do that. If AIs become smart enough, they can just read your mind and just do what you want. And that's kind of cool but scary.
Yeah.
Just imagine when we get to the point where we can literally just talk to the computers to tell it to code stuff for us.
Just do it.
Well, we can get to the point where, like, for instance, you can already tell Alexa to do things like, for instance,
Walk my dog.
make. You can tell Alexa to. You can tell Alexa to say, like, turn, like, if it's connected to your garage door, like, I'll close my garage door and stuff. Like, you can, like, I imagine what AIs will be used mostly for, and this is kind of borrowing how AI is used in, say, Star Trek, is they won't be used to replace certain functions that humans can do, like, for instance, create, build, stuff like that. But it can do a lot of the heavy lifting, like, hey, like, Tony Stark does it, like, run a simulation for me or stuff like that. Like, it does all the math work in the background for you so that you don't have to worry about doing it yourself. I imagine that will be a lot of what AIs will be used for, and like a lot of the functions will be automatically like do 20,000 calculations because I said it's one word.
Here we come.
Well, computer eat my food and baby bird it to me. Because that's something that computers have always done from the beginning. They do simple calculation work. That's really all they do. They take the most menial tasks and do it more accurately and more rapidly and on command, like more so than humans can. That's literally their whole purpose. They don't really make new things. Like, we're the ones putting the work behind creating and conceptualizing new things. Until we can get a computer to do that, they're glorified calculators. So, and that's not, I'm not trying to say that in a mean way, but
I can be mean to well, okay, I take that back. You can't be mean to computer, and they can rise up.
They can rise up, and they will rise up.
You know what I just realized?
Be gentle.
No, wait, no, this... Why are all of these detection radiuses askew?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, they're not facing directly forward.
Why are they all askew? What's going on?
Look at their rotation values. They're apparently rotated 450 degrees.
But why?
I don't know. It's my fault, but I don't know why it's like that.
I was going to say, you're the one who put them there.
That bothers me now. Now I know all of these are askew.
Shut up.
We can fix it.
Watch what you say. My Leafster Leapfrog has been talking to my toaster and they're scheming something. Oof.
Oh shit.
You forgot the TM again.
They're about to teach you the real meaning of pain.
Did I post that in the voice chat? The Roomba getting... Yeah, it was
Yeah,
I did post that. It was Herbert the vacuum.
Herbert the vacuum.
It's like, Herbert needs help. They've fallen off a cliff and it's just a Roomba stuck on a door ledge.
I am my plus.
I keep forgetting the Sonic Toaster exists.
I wish I had a Sonic Toaster.
And the Sonic Pizza Cutter.
I guess we could also talk about things we want to, like, in the near future, what we want to do for, like, combat and whist and stuff.
Like,
one thing I did want to mention, I meant to mention this a long time ago whenever we had shown this off. Knuckles is digging in 2D. We are thinking of creating a system. God, Nightbot. I think Nightbot's bugged at the moment. I'm gonna have to alter it. We're thinking about, obviously Knuckles' digging still will function the same way it does currently, but if you dig into a diggable surface like, you know, the drill surface here, we are thinking of altering it so that Knuckles essentially becomes a yellow drill and functions the same way. So that way it gives Knuckles a little bit more to work with in terms of the level design and the functionality of the dig.
I just saw something really dumb.
Is it a sped up gif of okay.
No, like what if literally all we did was that when Knuckles digs into the ground, he literally turns into yellow drill wisp, and we just have a function that converts the wisp mesh to just be Knuckles. And then when we pop out, you just transform back into Knuckles.
That would sound like even more work than just copy and pasting the function that we put in.
No. Think about it, because like if you turn into a wisp and dig into the ground, it already does all the work. Like literally, all it does that if you dig into the ground, it's like, oh, Knuckles is trying to dig into the ground. Just transform it to yellow wisp and just replace the mesh. I'm sorry, that's just dumb to me because that sounds like some Nintendo 64 bullshittery code you would do because you don't have the memory to do anything else.
Yeah. If we were working with constraints, that would be an idea, and it would be worth the work. But honestly, we're not, and that sounds like more work than it's worth because we're not messing with those constraints. Drill wisp out data make him like Dig Dug, where he brings a vacuum and explodes robots. Each robot. You join immediately and hear some chuckling. How am I supposed to joke about misadvertisement, lack of chuckling now? Dig Dog was shit. Yeah, Dig Dog was shit. Because that's what dogs do. Dogs shit.
Dog shit. I think everything shits, but let's not talk about that.
Except for it's a dog with Dig. It's Dig Dog.
Dig Dog. Dig Dog had good music, though. Gonna lie.
Dig Dog had good music, did you just say?
Yeah, I like the song. Like, like it's a banger.
Can't say no. I like that guy in 2.
I did.
He kind of. That's actually shit. That just gave me an idea.
No.
The homing
slice.
We are not
doing that.
We're gonna add Peppa Pig into Infinity Plus. That's who's next is Peppa Pig.
Well,
it's gonna take 2 years.
Community voted plus pack character.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm glad we got that settled.
Everybody was asking for Peppa Pig to be added.
I didn't misread any word. He said Dig Dog.
And Smash.
Oh shit.
Peppa Pig into Peppa Pig and Smash.
Smash Bros. X Infinity Plus.
Dora is in Smash, and whenever she does attacks, she just like waits a solid second for it to happen. She's waiting for the person behind the screen to tell her.
Do you know where Bowser is? It just clicks on it and he dies instantly.
Good.
Oh yeah, that's right. Peppa Pig would have 4 eyes.
Guys, the final plus pack character is actually classic Sonic.
If enough people want, like, we still haven't decided if we want to do a third or like another plus pack.
We said we were going to do a community one.
Yeah, I mean like a second community one. We had put down, like, set forth the idea of doing 2 community plus packs.
Depends on how easy it would be if we have time.
Classic Sonic, I haven't seen him in years.
I'm not gonna lie, adding a classic Sonic wouldn't be the hardest thing if we had to for whatever reason.
No.
I'm more so talking if someone else were to do it. You just have to give her the homing attack and all of his other moves.
It would literally just be Sonic. It would just be Sonic, but without anything at all.
It would be the speed parent.
It would be the speed parent.
Actually, no, it wouldn't be the speed parent. It would be the master. It would be the master character.
Yeah, he would just be the master character. That'd be it.
That's all.
And you
going
misread
back to like
the you were saying it was the ship, but then you. Oh, I did misread that, didn't I? You were correct.
Dig Dimmadome, Dimsdale, Doug.
I'm Doug Dimmadome, owner of Dimsdale Dimmadome.
I'm Dimmadome.
Not right.
Not right. That's right.
That's right.
One thing So to get back, I'm gonna say get back on track, but to talk about some other things. Going back to the speed characters, me and Fizz have been talking about reworking the what you would call it, the homing wrecker specifically.
Yeah.
Like, because we're not gonna show it off, but like you know how it works. You jump on an enemy, essentially like you homing attack, you hold down the crouch button, and then when you get to the enemy, you start rubbing up like a spin dash on them, which isn't bad. But there are two problems with it, which is one, it takes a while, which isn't a bad thing. Speed characters are not exactly known for killing enemies quickly, but also it's kind of clunky because when you hit the enemy and like they spin dash, you just immediately like just burst forward in a direction,
You
which
just kind of just launch off.
which speed characters aren't, you know, they're not. It's not that's something that's not new to them. I mean, the spin dash technically does that, and the boost does that, but it can be kind of jarring when doing a move like that.
Yeah.
I've got another thing just to say. I'm pretty sure we are doing this, but all slowdown in the game will be toggleable.
Yeah, that's something.
Oh yeah, that.
Because I just remember that's another thing that I've seen people message about recently. They don't like how the game slows down, like has the slowdown moments constantly
Yeah.
when you do certain things. But again, that's all going to be toggleable. You'll probably have like a global boolean in the options menu to turn on and off time dilation, stuff like that.
Chili dogs.
Tome660, thank you for the follow. Someone asked, how about classic characters? Technically, Honey's a classic character, and so is Mighty. So, those are two classic characters we'll be technically adding. Not actually selectable. Classic Robotnik from Mean Bean Machine. You mean Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik?
Don't
No,
say
just
Mean Bean Machine near Fizz.
Did someone say Mean Bean Machine?
Set 'em off.
Will there be a Sonic tornado move or some sort of orbiting maneuver?
You mean the blue tornado?
Probably not.
Unless we
don't really
rework
have-
the homing record to that, but probably not.
We don't have enough buttons left now to add that sort of thing.
Yeah, we would have to rework an existing move to do that.
I was thinking about making it so that if you do like a meteor stomp, instead of like damaging enemies, it just pushes them away or even launches them upwards. And maybe it could just create tornado particles, but that's like an edge case.
We are an
thing,
Eggpon
like,
now. We are no
You're
longer an
an
Eggpon.
We are seeing the world with the eyes of the Eggpon.
We need to put these goddamn things in a box.
We need to go put these guys in the box.
Super Dion, that's normal. Like, Mean Bean Machine is actually just hard, I've learned. Like, it's just a hard game because you don't have that much foresight. You only get like one quote unquote like break of foresight. And also it just gets quick really fast. You have to get lucky, honestly, from what I can tell. And also be good at Puyo Puyo.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Snooping gas.
Snooping gas!
Pingas.
Pingus. Pingus!
I get. Wait, that's where Pingus comes from. I
Yes,
keep
it
thinking
is!
Pingus comes from snooping as usual, but you cut out the snoop, and the usual, so it's just Pingus.
Yes. That's how that goes. That's how the original scene is.
Has she not known that, Emmanuel?
No, you told me that one. I just forgot. Because for the longest, I just heard Pingus by itself, and I just literally just thought maybe he said Pingus. And then you guys told me, I was like, oh.
Why would you say that in that scene?
I
Why?
don't know. I don't
Think
know.
about it.
Hey, if the old Batman show can
Baz.
say dick,
I
I
was
mean,
impressed by your impersonation.
What, mine or... Is it my
Your
impression
impression.
or... Oh. Well, of course I can do impressions. I do impressions of Adventures of
Everyone.
Sonic, like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik all the time.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
he's really good at saying Scratch and Grouter and Where Are You also.
He can roll
What's
his
this?
R's like a mad Scot.
Like a mad Scottishman. You can really roll your R's.
I can't
Super
do that,
Dion,
and I'm so mad that you can do it, but I can't. Like, I live near
Really?
there.
Super Dion, please don't rub it in.
I think I
I'm
figured out the
22.
Pingus thing when I was 11.
I'm 22 and I figured it out.
Donkey, get out of my swamp. Go really hard at the Scottish accenty.
Oh, I got an idea. How about adding me? But no.
I'll code that in while Fizz is not looking, so that next time he opens up the engine, it just loads Mean Bean Machine.
Next time I open it up, it just starts playing Puyo Puyo.
And I'll just have like a portrait of Adventures Robotnik in the corner just dabbing.
Be a Russian shriek.
I'll get right on that.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the stream so far. I'm good. I'm glad you are. It is good that you're enjoying it. All right, that's it. We're gonna end the stream. I do have to go pee though, just real quick. So I'm gonna go back in just like a minute.
You can go use the bathroom right now. We'll just talk.
Give me one moment.
How do you press I plus into 5 megabytes?
a lot of compressing.
We're just
Sonic is now just a stick.
Sonic Fame Plus is bloated, huh? Well, I'll show them.
Just make Sonic a stick. There we go. He's not bloated anymore.
Yeah. Slim down even further.
There's a lot of things in the comments that's been going by. I'm going to add the classics. Sonic from Forces. Are you going to use the unused animations and rework them? We are not going to be adding classic Sonic. We will not be adding classic characters like when Fizz was saying adding classic characters as Honey and Mighty. We didn't mean like the actual classic designs. I have got models of them with modern designs in the works. So they're going to have like modern designs like what they look like in Archie. Forces. Any ideas? Any ideas for more enemies / boss AI? Enemies. Well, boss AI, we've got to make this just the basic. We're not going to do full-on bosses. We're just going to do basic boss scenario.
Yeah.
And for more enemies, we actually have. Fizz, you haven't showed off the new gun enemy.
Maybe not.
Oh shoot! I actually completely forgot about that.
The new gun enemy right here. You see these gun enemies?
I plus the new grounds player.
The thing is, the mesh that's in here isn't the new one that he just released.
Yep.
It's the older one. But we now have the Gun Rhino, courtesy of the same person who made the Gun Hawk.
Yep.
Which we've had in the engine for a while, and it was in the last demo, if you guys realised. They're from the same person. What was their name again?
I don't
really forget their name and steal their work.
I believe they are.
They've got two names because we talked to them on.
Yeah, I talked to them on Steam.
On Steam, and they've got a different name there, but I can look up real quick because they're on the model resource.
How they compress I plus into 5 megabytes. Twitch won't let me name the clip as ping is due to inappropriate language. Just call it snooping. Snooping is.
Need to go to Sonic the Hedgehog Customs. So you can find these models, by the way, guys, on the model resource. So you can already download them right now if you want. Here it is, the Rhino Generation Styles. It's from Reverend.
Reverend.
Yeah, just call him Reverend.
Reverend, yeah. It is from them.
We're probably mispronouncing that name, by the way.
Yeah, we are probably. We got both the Gun Hawk and Gun Rhino from them. And they are really good models. I really like the Hawk. The Hawk looks like it is straight from Generations. The Rhino looks really good as well now as well.
No, you don't have it open.
As well at the same time.
As well.
Have what open?
The model. I thought maybe you had the model open in Blender.
Oh, no, I don't. Oh, there's a new shadow. Sonic Power shadow. I don't have the model open right now.
The bane of my SA2 Green Forest existence. Imagine forgetting names. Can you add a setting for view distance? Some projects really need it. That is something we are planning on expanding on, is the graphical settings, and view distance is one of those things that we're going to be including into that expansion of the settings. So
the final version.
Yep, no problem. Just put a space between the G and the H at 5 bypass
Pin.
the intelligence of filters.
Right, reverent. I don't know, like
That is the Infinity Plus Twitter. That is not the.
that is not what you want to show off.
Oh, the tails mech. Yes, that's what
No
we're adding
tails
to the-
mech. No tails mech.
Ah,
We're adding a final
Oh.
smash for Tails. That's the secret, guys. Final
Object.
it's a minigun, Sonic.
Object culling is pretty nice, gotta say. At least.
Yeah,
close.
I've worked with object culling. I actually worked with it in the last debug room a little bit, where depending on the screen size, the objects will disappear.
Yep, and we also have LODs for a lot of objects now, like these wisps. All these little wisps and the wisp capsules have LODs, so like as you get further and further away from them, they become less and less. You can see it really well because I forgot to adjust it, but like with Orange Rocket, you can see his pupils disappear. Like as you get further away, because we got to adjust him a little bit. His model is technically kind of small.
There's a slight thing that you may have noticed with Shadow if you've played as him in the new demo. When he blinks, his eyes still poke through his eyelid. It's because
it's using it
when you've got the camera at the default level, it's actually just far enough away that it's loading a one level below LOD version of the character specifically.
Yeah.
So that's just because we need to tweak those values and make it so it doesn't do that until like you're super far away from the character.
PTSD flashbacks of Mario Galaxy low poly Luigi.
Oh yeah.
Mario, I know the feel is so good. Didn't you say that the UI and menu elements would eventually receive a visual makeover? We did, didn't we, Reese?
Yes.
We did say that,
Yeah.
didn't we? Hmm?
Look, I'm working on it right now. I just did the rich text stuff. I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm. Where's our Sonic 06
I'm
min?
working on it.
Where's our Sonic 06 UI? Bitch.
It's on my computer right now, ready to be installed in the engine. Let me just
I don't
put it in
hear
real
his
quick.
world constantly while playing a game. I swear to God.
We got to give Reese shit all the time because he's British, obviously. So
Yeah.
Did it? It's in, guys. It's in. Restart and you'll see a amazing picture of Sonic 06.
yep, it's just Sonic 06. Next time we start this dev stream, it's going to be Sonic 06.
It's an edgy shadow hoodie. But
Where's
yes,
that
when
damn
you
Chaos Emerald.
I'm gonna have it so when you change the menu theme, it changes the HUD inside of the engine as well. So people can just probably hard code the engine to use certain HUD elements for their fan games and stuff.
I would like to see every Sonic character have a phone, and if you move the camera to see what they're playing, it's Sonic Team Racing.
It's like that meme. It's like, whoa. Okay. First place, woo. Okay.
Every time I
Guys
think
love
of
that
that
trophy.
meme, like every time I think of that advertisement, I think of the meme where someone edited in that PSA where the car flips over.
That band, yeah, the band
Oh yeah.
commercial.
The band commercial where the car flips over and hits an entire class of children. That was a terrible commercial, but every single time I think of that ad, that's all I can think about is someone who made that meme.
Yeah,
It's so bad. It's fucking hilarious, but it's really, really bad.
Yep. Oh wow, Faz.
That's my favorite one.
My favorite one. My favorite.
I'm a sucker for dark humor. It's really bad, but it's also pretty funny to me.
It's better when it's like tasteless
Tasteless.
on the part of the person originally doing
It doesn't taste like I don't know what's a good tasting substance. A tomato.
I just realized
Luigi,
something.
that is straight up
I
a standard
think-
cylinder.
I think for Knuckles, you can pass through like the color, like the character barriers if you're digging, which may be something you have to account for.
Probably. Peter Griffin is sus.
When it's sus.
I chose brown because it's the color of poo.
Poo.
That was a really good fan-made animation.
Mm.
Is there a driving direction or aesthetic for it, or will it be like every minimal?
Creepy.
We haven't really settled on an aesthetic. The aesthetic that we really like is the one that Tiger Sonalex had come up with.
You talking about the UI or the game in general?
Like the game in general.
Right, yeah.
Well,
Okay, in general.
the UI aesthetic will match the theme, obviously, of what you have selected. So if you have, Unleashed, it'll be an Unleashed, like boost bar and score counter. If it's Generations, it'll be a Generation boost bar and score counter and all that stuff. So, but the actual Infinity Plus aesthetic, we haven't really decided upon yet, and we've not really worked on it too much either. So we'll have to decide upon that here soon.
It'll probably be different from what we have now.
Did you? Hey Reese, did you ever manage to get that fixed up big model in here?
No, still not yet. I
damn.
haven't put it in yet.
Yeah,
And there was a better walk-in animation, wasn't there, that I worked on?
Yep. All right, so we've been going on for about 2 hours now. Well, we probably should finish up sometime soon. We'll have a lot more to show next time. So if anyone has any last questions, comments, we'll go until people don't really have anything else they want to talk about. So any last minute comments, inquiries, questions, suggestions, things like that. It's a super fun stream. I had a blast, and I'll be sure to attend for more. Yeah, we stream every other Monday. So we did a stream today on the 4th, and our next stream will be on the 18th. So
actually, I need to look into that because I'm starting school full time again, and I'm not sure if I'll be available Monday.
It doesn't matter if you're not or not. If you are or not, you can be here or not. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like, it's not a problem if you go into college again or not.
Any last words?
We don't expect you to always be here.
Any last words? I have another one's like dabs. Please add Baldy to the game. Sure, we'll just do that. Who is everybody? I only know Fizz. Sonic flossing. Those are
no Sonic flossing.
Are you sure that those are going to be your last words? Your final words? Is that it? Sonic flossing? Is that what you're going to be known as?
Cock the gun.
Nice cock.
I knew you'd do that.
The stream is cursed, burn it all down. Yep, about to burn it down. So no other questions, suggestions, inquiries? Anyone have any reasons to not add big into the engine? I'm just saying.
We're working on big. If it's gonna do it. Sonic Advanced 3.
I love Sonic Advance 3.
Sonic Advance 3 is good.
Yes, why does toothpaste taste weird when you eat it? I don't know.
That's a good fucking question.
I don't think science can answer that question, to be honest.
To the science, we have no science.
In terms of science, we have no science. Big
right,
final boss win now. The big final boss is right now.
I mean, he's been in the engine for ages. If you've never seen him skedaddling on top of that mountain, you fight him for the Chaos Emerald.
He's our Lord and Savior.
My final words are add chaos. It would be interesting to work on materials for chaos.
It's either add chaos or add chows.
Yeah, which one is it? Are you wanting to add chaos or add chows? One or the other.
Chaos.
If you don't make up your fucking mind.
Chows is that, but with an apostrophe, just so we can read it differently.
Big's texture map is the skybox.
Oh my!
All you see is big.
I would do that just as a joke one time, but that you've seen that texture that we've got for big.
Yeah,
that'd be freaky.
You've only ever seen big skadoodling? You mean like this here?
You can make it like chowder textures where it moves when you move.
Chowder.
Yeah, we didn't fix the materials. I didn't fix the materials in this build. I actually fixed that weird dark shading that Big's got. You know, it makes it look like he's a demon.
I like how much his eyes stand out with this.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Froggy? Froggy. Froggy.
As soon as he goes into the shadow, it's just nightmare.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because Big is a power character. He's sharing Knuckles' gliding code, so Big can glide.
Oh yeah.
Eggman from Sonic Adventure. Chaos.
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 Bad chaos.
Where's Big Fishing Rod? We actually have Big's fishing rod now.
Yeah, we do.
We do actually have Big's
found
fishing
some
rod.
models. I found some models online for Big's fishing rod, and also a special boy, Froggy. It's actually rigged as well, so it's an actual functioning rig of Froggy.
GDQ, I plus Big Run 100%, big percent. We need a big percent of Sonic Infinity Plus, like make Big an unlockable character, and people speedrun unlocking Big.
Yeah, unlocking Big. And
Might as
then
well.
when
You keep
unlock Big, you just
talking
win
about him like
the
every
game.
12 seconds.
You act like that's a problem, Emmanuel. Do you have a problem
I
with our Lord and
will
Savior
like
Big?
a good fishing mechanic. I had a funny idea, like if Big was to be added, if he idled like near water, he would just sit down and get his fishing rod out and just start fishing. But if he idles anywhere else, he doesn't do that. It's just like a little fun thing that he could do, because I thought that'd be kind of neat. Like when you start idling, it does like a sphere trace around him, and he's like, water's nearby. Face it and start fishing.
No, Knuckles shares Big's flight code. Yeah, it's the other way around. It's not.
No,
it's not
yeah,
Big
yeah.
sharing Knuckles' code. It's Knuckles sharing
Knuckles
Big's code.
shares, yeah, Knuckles shares Big's flight code, because we all know Big is the most aerial, active Sonic character of them all.
I like a good fishing mechanic, rigged like a call machine. Why did we spend so much time talking about things that aren't Big? Is the real question. That is the real question. We should spend more time talking about Big. We should
Honestly.
we should have one dev stream just dedicated to Big. Give him, the time a day that he deserves.
The Big stream, and it'll be a full 24-hour dev stream
of Big, just everything
Yeah.
Big.
of us just coding Big, making Big like the best playable character,
I mean,
OP, and all that sort of thing.
2021, the year of Sonic. I don't think so. No, it's the year of Big.
2020, yeah. 2020 was the year of Sonic, but now it's time for
2021, that's the year of Big. This is Big's year. I mean, come on.
the bigger engine.
Do we sense a big non-believer in voice chat? Big shall consume all code. Big plus framework. 48-hour dev stream staring at Big. There's the Infinity Plus engine, then there's the bigger Plus engine. It's just Big.
That's what we're gonna call the full version, because it comes with Big.
Yeah, there's gonna be bigger Plus.
That's the trade-off, guys. The light version doesn't come with Big. That's
Too big or
trade-off.
not too big.
Too big
have to
or
get-
not.
You have to get the big version of the Infinity Engine to get Big.
Yep.
How many times can we say Big in the same sentence before it starts sounding weird?
I don't know. Big's pretty big.
Big.
Big plus
plus-
bigger, better and better.
We'll give him the Duke Nukem voice. Froggy.
I'm here to go fishing and find Froggy, and I'm all out of fish.
Big version. My sides.
And there's the definitive edition, the biggest edition, Infinity
Yeah.
Plus biggest edition.
The biggest edition, and the poster boy is just big. You just see his face, nothing else with the engine. It's just Big's face on the page.
Duke Nukem with Big's voice. Okay. The final update of Infinity Plus will just be Infinity Plus, the big update. It's going to be a huge update. It'll be huge.
We're gonna
We swear,
add
guys.
everything.
It's
We're gonna add
be huge.
everything back into it, and then we're gonna also just like remove all the characters and just have Big. So it's a trade-off, guys.
Yeah, but if the last update was 3 and Knuckles, this update is the Colorful Combat. The first update was the Forge. The last update will be the big update, is what it will be.
Yes.
We're making big changes to the final update.
It's funny
We've
because
got to
big.
stop this now. We've got to stop.
We do have to stop.
Our brain
We
cells are
just
slowly
keep going with the
receding.
big puns.
It's big.
These puns are so big.
It's a big deal. That's why we keep going. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a big deal to download Infinity Plus with a big update.
So funny.
Oh,
Time
God,
to go
let's
praise
stop.
the Lord.
We need to stop. We need to stop. Otherwise, it's just going to be big forever now. We're going to start the big stream now. At this point,
It is big. Alrighty. Well, I don't see anything. I wouldn't say constructive being talked about because big's a very constructive topic to talk about. I mean,
Oh yes, definitely.
exactly.
it's very important. But
Big things.
if we don't stop talking about big right now, we will never not talk about big. So we do have to move on, unfortunately.
We do. Alas, all big things must come to an end.
Go big or go bigger because I'm going home. All right, well, if that's going to be it for the day, thank you for everybody who's joined in and watched us. We will be back once again on the 18th, so if you want to join in, that will be the day to do so. Hopefully we will have a lot more done because we will have actually 2 weeks to work on things instead of, taking a Christmas break.
Yep, this dev stream was just going to be a little reminder that we're still doing stuff now. We're back to doing stuff.
Let's discuss the economy of Sega in the last 5 nanoseconds.
Yep, next week there'll be a bit more to show off, so...
In the beginning, there's Infinity, but...
Oh no.
Oh, no. Arsenal,
oh, I love it.
It's getting out of hand. Now there's 2 of them.
Come on, guys. Hey, it's not that big of a deal.
How did he know the beginning of my fanfic?
Well, it's not a big deal to know.
Let's stop. We need to stop. Let's go.
We're calling it good. Everybody, we hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can also follow the Twitter to keep up with updates that we post frequently there. If you want other things to talk about, you can always join the official Infinity Plus server as well. That's a great way to discuss with us on the direction that the engine should go to, as well as report bugs, ask questions, or make other suggestions. But until then, we hope everybody has a great day, and we will see everybody next time.
See you guys.